So you've built your initial starter base, you've added a layer of honeycomb, and you even have enough resources to keep it all together. The only problem is your TC doesn't have enough space. If we go inside, you'll notice that my TC is full, but I only have enough protection for 5 days and 22 hours, and I'm going away for a week, and I'm confident this base isn't going to get raided. What can I do? Well, what I need to use is an industrial conveyor. I can actually set it so that the ingredients in this box right here will automatically transfer over into my tool cabinet whenever it needs them. That way I can fill this box up with as much stone, metal, HQM that I need for, wow, more than a week, maybe even 2 or 3 weeks. It's really easy to do and it doesn't cost that much. But first of all, you want to make sure that your TC has the right balance of resources in it. So, for example, let me take out some resources from this box, and let's say I'd just been filling up this TC willy-nilly, and maybe I had, more metal in there, like this. And it's still full. So I'm looking at this and I'm saying, well, do I have the right ratio of resources? Do I have the right amount of stone, metal, and HQM? Obviously, I need some HQM in there, so I need to have at least a stack, and probably not more than 1 stack. But in terms of metal and stone, you have to figure it out. And the best way to do that is to keep replacing each resource to see when you can add more time. So for example, if I'm thinking, oh, maybe I don't have enough stone in here. Right now I'm at 5 days, 19 hours. Just take a stack of stone, replace one of the stacks of metal, and if your time goes up, it went up to 6 days and 4 hours now, then we're starting to go in the right direction. If it went down, we want to go and put the metal back. But since it went up, we can even try again and replace this metal and see if it goes up again. Nope, now it went down. So we actually want this metal in here. So we now have the right ratio of resources to maximize how long our base is protected for. So now that we have that, we can put all our extra resources in this box, and we can build the industrial conveyor. So for this build, all you really need is a solar panel, an industrial conveyor, and 2 storage adapters. That's 1 tech trash, 5 HQM, and 275 frags. You don't need the battery or the branch, but it will make this build a little bit more robust. Without the battery, this conveyor is only going to run during the day, but that should be fine to fill up your TC, so you really don't need the battery. And without the branch, you just can't add anything else to the base, but it's best practice to use it, so I'll show you both methods. So the first thing that we want to do is go ahead and we'll add our industrial conveyor and our 2 storage adapters. So for the storage adapters, we just need to add 1 to our TC right here. And you can see we can place it through a window, and you can run the piping through a window and through a door. You can't run it through a wall, so you do need to have access between the TC and whatever box you're using, either through a window or a door or just an open space. But we're going to add the second storage adapter to the box that we're going to use to fill the TC. And then we can go ahead and we can just put the conveyor in some place where it's convenient. You want to be able to access the wires. You should be able to access the wires there, and that way it's kind of in that room as well, nice and protected. So we'll go ahead and we'll put it there. And I'm going to show you a method to do this without having to worry about the filters. I think sometimes that's what holds people back when they're setting this up. In order to do this method, you do need to have the TC full with the right ratio like I showed you. And you also need to have extra resources, and you need to make sure that you're always having a little bit of the extra resources that you need, and then you won't need to use the filters. So now we can actually just set up the industrial part first. You are going to need a pipe. So that's 2 high quality metal. You'll have to add that to the list of resources as well. And then you're going to take your pipe tool. You're going to connect to the industrial conveyor where it says industrial input. I'm going to go ahead and attach it there. And it can be kind of finicky getting the pipe out of the window, but I promise you it can be done. So you can't place it where it's red. So just place it where it's green. You can get it as far over until you can get it kind of outside the wall here. You got to find the right spot. You can see now we're on the outside, so we can probably move it over to maybe here. And then on this one, we want to make sure that it's connecting to the industrial out. We could even hide this a little more, I believe. Yeah. Okay, so this box is now going into the conveyor. And now we want to connect the industrial output from the conveyor into the storage adapter for our TC. And that is all we have to do for the industrial part. Now we need to go put a solar panel on the top of our base. But before I do that, I'm actually going to place a battery because that's going to be helpful for us here in a minute. So you don't have to use the battery, and I'll show you how you can not use the battery, but let's just put it in there for now. It'll help us so we don't have to run outside the base twice. Okay, so we're on the top of our base, and you want to find a good spot. I've mentioned it before, but there's controversy on which direction to face your panel. I like to face mine north. So now I'm going to grab the wire tool, which is also to HQM, by the way. And we're going to wire this panel up by just clicking on the output. We'll try and keep our wires somewhat clean here. Bring it down. And bring it across our wall. Now, if you don't want to use the battery, you can actually just hook this solar panel right up here to the power in of your conveyor, and it will start running. I'm not going to do that because then I'd have to go back up and grab the solar panel connection again. But we could hook it right up to this power in, and it would run only during the day, and it works. That's it. You're done. However, if we want to make this a little bit more robust, we're going to connect our solar panel to our small battery. And now we could, technically, and I will show you this, just connect the power out from the battery, and we can connect that into our conveyor to the power in. And then we do have to turn the conveyor on just by clicking E, and you'll notice that it goes green, and it's working. So what this means is we've got our ingredients in here. As soon as we need some, it will fill our chest for us, and as long as we have extra resources, it will keep the right ratio. So let's say we use up 500 stone from our upkeep. Watch what happens here. Watch this 500. Up, boom, already 1,000. It filled it up for us. It took it out of this box and then put it in our storage. Now, if you don't keep this box full of the extra ingredients you need, it might put something like cloth or leather. Obviously, it can't put sulfur ore, but it might put other ingredients into your chest, or even just metal when you actually need stone. So that's why it's important that you always have to have your TC full and some extra resources on hand. And if you have that ratio set up correctly, you're good to go. Now, we can also add an electrical branch to this system, just to make it a little bit more user-friendly to expand upon. So I can put this here. I can take my wire tool and I can go to the output of the battery, and I can right-click and hold to clear that, and I can put the output into the power in of this branch, and I can configure the branch to only output one power. That's all the conveyor needs. So now I can go out of this branch, and we can try and keep our wires somewhat clean, and I can put the branch here into the power of the conveyor. And now I could go and I could branch out and I could power other things in the base, like an electric smelter, which I actually have a video on. And guys, you can even put now a glass window on here, and you don't have to access your TC ever. Boom, check that out. If we need to access the TC, we could take off the window. But for all intents and purposes, as long as we keep this box full now, our TC will stay full, and it is very well protected. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, I would really appreciate a thumbs up. Subscribe for more Rust builds and tutorials. And if you haven't set up an electric smelter in your base yet, check out this video right here where I show you the simplest way to do it in Rust. That's all I've got for you for today, guys. I'm Stack Runner, and I'll see you in the next one.